you find a tiger, and if you get into a fight with a tiger, you're not going to walk away and tell somebody else, hey, I fought a tiger. If the tiger fights, he sees blood, otherwise he doesn't fight. You know, he's in the mountain, and he stays up in the mountain, and he comes down only once. And when he comes down, it's to kill. My name is Cambrelen. I was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. I was raised up in New York, both in the Bronx and in the Chinatown section of Manhattan. The technique isn't the art itself. You know, like the technique is maybe 75%, you know, maybe even less. Maybe the technique is 10% and the spirit is 90%. That's what they mean by certain martial artists have the type of mentality that if they're in front of 1,000 people, they will fight those 1,000 people. And if they knew that they could never win, then they would attack. You know, if there is an opponent too strong for me, then I will simply claw him to shreds. You know, I will punch him and take his pride away. Psychologically, I will defeat him. I will defeat him in every way possible, not only physically, psychologically, and spiritually. I mean, he will really think he's facing a tiger. Well, I mean, everybody knows what the South Bronx is like. Everybody knows what any poor section of any city is like, you know. There's a lot of energy happening, and there's no place to focus that energy at. So what happens, you find the people focusing it at each other. I was 8 years old. I was 8. I studied under a master named Wang Jung, who taught me a style called Silom Ji. And the style more or less just represented some very, very basic punches and very, very basic blocks. Everybody's seeing Bruce Lee, everybody wants to punch and everybody wants to kick. The martial arts is much more involved than just punching and kicking.
There are no 30-day wonders turned out in the martial arts schools. You don't hear words like magic or luck. A student entering a good dojo for the first time can expect rigor and discipline, calisthenics, falling, hitting, contact, work, and plenty of sweat. He gains new respect for the word practice, drilling and drilling the basic forms to develop speed, strength, and balance. He discovers new thresholds of pain and exhaustion. Then, after others have quit but he's still fighting, after years of meeting his own challenges, he becomes a martial artist. His responses are as automatic as his heartbeat. He's fit and strong, in command of his body, with full confidence in his ability to defend himself. To the martial artist, earning a black belt is just the beginning. It's the first plateau, and he will spend a lifetime climbing the mountain.
When you're a fighter, the first thing you have to do is accept pain. If you get hit and that stops you or that blows your mind or it distracts you from the immediate situation, then you're going to get defeated. When you're fighting for your life, the only way that you can survive is to have that type of instinct. That even if you get hit, you're still going to go through it. Nothing can stop you. And if you've never had contact, no matter how much you study, right? If you don't practice your sparring, if you don't practice your contact, if you don't get hit, if you don't hit someone, then you don't know what it's about. And if you're going to relate to a person, the person can feel it more or less through feeling, you know, through touching them, through showing them, through hurting them. through them hurting you. That's the way lessons are taught. Like, they're not always going to be in my school. Sooner or later, they're going to grow up. They're going to have all the technique that I can possibly teach them, and they'll be thinking of their own techniques, and then they're going to have to go their own way.
Block.
Even I cannot give them what life is about.
Elbow strike, back fist. Elbow to the rib cage.
Okay, you practice every day to hurt somebody. Practice technically to systematically defeat him, you know, to hurt him, to break his legs, to break his arms, or whatever. But that's inside the school. When you get out in the street, it's a different thing. See, all these forms and all these ideas, they may look very good and they may sound very good, but the actual thing is the actual situation. Like in the school, you may have been doing something years and years and years, and you get out in the street and something happens, and you meet someone who's really mean, you know? Someone who will not hesitate to take your eye out, someone who will not hesitate to hit you in the throat, you know, someone who is really trying to kill you, and you may freeze. You may be scared. Stomp.
The warrior within.
Sooner or later, you become more aware that when you're punching, it brings you satisfaction. And you no longer see it as a punch. You no longer see it as a weapon to hurt somebody. It brings you satisfaction. It brings you inner peace. You know, meditation in motion, you've actually set yourself aside from all the problems of the world. Whether it's 2, 3, 4 hours that you practice, you've actually set all those problems aside, and you go and you meditate and you practice. And you fight no opponent, you're practicing. It's like you're working out your spirit, your energy, because everything is energy. And your punch, you become one with the universe. You kick, you become one with the universe. So you have that type of peace.